And I have had such a wonderful time getting to know this woman. And she has come to politics from a personal experience and wanting to make a difference and wanting to make some changes. She was the North Carolina campus coordinator for the Harris Walls campaign, and she is amazing. And you're gonna love her, and we're gonna hear from her about about her journey. So come on up, Ellen.
Hello, everyone. I'm nervous. Sorry.
You're good.
I first wanted to say that I feel really very humbled and very honored to be able to share my story in the presence of very powerful and strong women, and I have Mary to thank for that, so thank you so much. So, like Mary said, my name is Ellen Weaver, and I worked on the Harris campaign as the Regional Campus Organizing Director for the North Carolina Democrats in Western North Carolina. So my team and I worked tirelessly to mobilize college students at Western Carolina University, Appalachian State, UNCA, Gardner-Webb, and multiple other community colleges. And we did really well. We saw record turnout at Western and App State despite Hurricane Helene, which was awesome. I grew up in Waynesville, which is about an hour west of here. It's in the backcountry. I'm still there with my family. I'm the oldest of 3 girls. I attended Hanger Hall School for Girls for middle school, and I helped found the presence of the global organization Girl Up in Buncombe County with my friends. So women-centered communities are very important to me. I feel very fortunate to have found the Democratic Women of Buncombe County and to have befriended women who step up to organize Reconnect events in light of something very disheartening. We know and we've witnessed that organization like this can be so healing on an individual scale and on a global scale. So massive thank you to Mary Mullen and the team. I have to admit that deciding what to say to a community that has suffered such grave losses was not so easy. As women of the North Carolina mountains, we've watched our exceptionally beautiful home be wiped out by Mother Nature's wrath, fueled by decisions made by greedy, grimy corporate politicians who continue to loudly proclaim their disdain for us per the election of Donald Trump and multiple other sex offenders to our government. It feels like our power has been diminished and that there's no silver lining. But on a personal note, I'm not feeling so hopeless. A little bit about me is that I've been angry my entire life. I was born loving animals. As I grew up, my love transformed from a simple, childlike appreciation to anger as I learned that some animals were dying because of people. I saw workers on the side of the highway cutting down trees, and I would cry out of rage at them for doing that, for killing the trees and the places the animals needed to live. I learned about endangered animals. I'm sorry. One time I printed the words, "Save the red wolves" in all caps on my family's computer paper and demanded that my mom drive me around town so I could post them everywhere. Surely if the people of Waynesville knew about this issue, they would solve it. I got really into conservation, but I quickly learned that the situation at hand was much more complicated. I learned that certain chemicals called fossil fuels were causing our atmosphere to collapse. And our collapsing atmosphere plus these chemicals were causing global temperatures to drastically increase, ruining habitats, displacing people, and causing extreme storms. I learned that there are people out there, very powerful people, that do not care. I learned that actually the people cutting down those trees were not the bad people. They probably just didn't know the implications of what they were doing. They likely needed to do that to provide for their family. I learned that even if they read my flyers telling them to save the red wolf, their socioeconomic status limited their choices, and they might not be able to do much about it. I've since made it my mission to do something about it, but the universe decided that I needed some more life-altering events to solidify my political opinions. Like I said before, I'm from Waynesville. It's a very small town where everyone knows everyone. In the summers, my church congregated at the Howell House, and all the kids, including the 4 Howell kids, jumped in their pond, and we ate barbecue until nightfall. In 2019, the oldest Howell sibling tackled an active shooter in a science lecture at UNC Charlotte, and he was shot and killed. His funeral was held at Lake Junaluska, a location I still frequent for runs. At his funeral, I saw 3 Howell kids stand together where there used to be 4. I saw one boy standing alone where he used to have a brother beside him. Signs saying Waynesville Strong and Riley Howell, hometown hero, were posted downtown and printed on bumper stickers. We host a race every year to remember his sacrifice. Grief stained our community, and it continues to. I always knew that gun violence was a growing crisis, but because Waynesville is so little, I never thought it would affect us. And yet 4 years later, it would cross my mind that my community might have to experience that grief again, but for me. Similar to Riley, my first encounter with gun violence was during my last semester of college. I was in a religion class when a girl interrupted my professor and said, we just got a text saying there's an active shooter on campus. Dazed, everyone stood up and stacked us against the door, and we sat in the corners of the room. These are some texts from my loved ones. Ellen, make sure you and everyone around you has ringers off. Apparently someone is in custody. Who knows if it's true? Don't assume it is until you get the all clear. Worst comes to worst, play dead. Be very quiet. It's Alicia, Candy, and Emily. We're listening to the scanner for your mom. In a classroom, right? Scared is okay. Don't act on scared, though. Breathe deep, be calm, slow. I kept thinking about my hometown and my family, how I've already seen firsthand the effects of gun violence, and how my sisters and my parents were facing that same fate. I'm thankful that mine did not, but Professor Yan's did. Ziju Yan was killed in my lab building, and his 2 daughters are without a father today. Lately, it's felt like all we do is grieve. We grieve for students and for professors killed at school. We grieve for our planet, and we grieve for our neighbors and our home after it's been devastated by climate change. We grieve for the opportunity for a woman president. In these grim times, it's hard to remember that not all is lost. We know how the next 4 years will go. It's either going to go pretty badly or very badly. We're going to see rock bottom, but where does one go from rock bottom? The Democratic Party is forced to transform for the better, and honestly, I'm excited. The National Democratic Party can no longer tiptoe around corporations and wealthy individuals who abuse their wealth for politics. They're now required to stand loud and proud for the working class. And it's not like the majority of Americans are miniature Donald Trumps. The largest statistic of the election was the number of Americans who did not vote, indicating a cynical electorate who want a new party to support. 89 million non-voting Americans plus 75 million Harris voters decided to keep their vote from Trump. Remember that Kamala Harris only had 3 months to campaign, and she lost by one of the smallest popular vote margins in history. Again, not all was lost. Red states voted to protect reproductive rights and solidify them in their state constitutions. Arizona, Missouri, Montana, and Nevada. Red Alaska and Nebraska voted to increase minimum wage and require paid sick leave, reflecting democratic values. North Carolina voted in Governor Josh Stein and kept our brilliant Allison Riggs, who is the youngest woman to ever serve on our state Supreme Court. And with the election of Lindsey Prather, like we talked about before, we broke our former Republican supermajority to leave our abhorrent 2022 gerrymandering behind. The blue wave is an undercurrent right now. I found a quote recently that I think perfectly describes the generational dissonance and the hope that we might feel. It goes, "A society grows great when old women plant trees in whose shade they shall never sit." We can see that there's no shade yet, but the trees are here and they're growing. We endured brutal storms and will continue to. History shows us that challenges are inevitable as we progress, and look how far we've come. 59 years after Black women became merely allowed to vote, she made history on her presidential ticket. I can say to you with confidence that the community and the culture you fostered will prevail. My peers and my sisters were born angry too. We will continue to fight. Hope is not lost. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for planting your trees.